Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I say, okay, ladies, now let's get information. You know you that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Always stay gracious, best revenge is your paper.
Hey, it's your girl, the Thick Rider Chick, Miss Jordan, Courtney Lyric in the building. I've got two guests with me today on our Mother's Day episode. If you can start with the guest underneath and then move to the guest to my right. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm actually Jordan's sister. I've got AskCarmen Tv on all social media platforms, and I'm a mom of three.
My turn? Okay. Hey everybody, I am Ron Brown. I do a lot. I don't know where to start. But I am a mother of one.
Okay, okay. So, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so that's the reason I decided to do the show on Saturday instead. So if you are joining, thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe and leave comments in the comment area. So today we're just going to talk about, our mothers, the influences they had on us, and also what motherhood means to us as mothers. We actually are all, well, Carmen has a daughter, but she has one daughter, but we are technically boy moms overall. Um, so we got my niece, Miss Lauren. But okay, so the first question is, and whoever wishes to go first, that's fine. What is a positive thing that you learned from your mother?
I say that it's important to prioritize yourself and take care of yourself outside of just being a mom. So I remember our mom would have like her own little times to herself or little things that she did on her own sometimes. So that's just something I remember from being her child.
For me, my mom is nice to everybody. So that's one thing my mom has always taught me. She always taught me to be nice, be kind, and be cordial to people, whether you like them or not. So that's one of the main things that I've learned from my mother.
Okay. I would say independence. Definitely learned independence from her. I just always saw her having her own no matter what. We were very blessed. We didn't move around a bunch a lot throughout our childhood. We had a stable home and she ensured that. I definitely learned soldiering on despite what may be going on in life. She always through every season held her head say that three times fast, very high, and had a class and a way about herself no matter what. So I definitely picked that up from Miss Jenny. Hey. Okay, well that's good to hear. So, what would you ladies say is the hardest part of motherhood?
Uh, just the extremely high expectations from other people, not even other people that you know, but everyone has some idea of how it should look to be a mom, and they project those ideas on you, even if you're not their child's mother, even if you don't know y'all, especially when your kids are real small. So, to any new moms, I would just say, get ready. It doesn't stop, but I think at first, I just heard so much unrequested advice, and I was not seeking advice at the time. So that would be definitely the toughest part. Like I said, as they've gotten older, it's not as bad, but at first you're just like constantly bombarded with you should do this. Where is this? Where that? And
Okay, Ron.
See, I didn't have that issue until my son got older. So when he was younger, I really didn't have people like trying to tell me what I need to do, what need to be done, but what needed to be done. But as he got older, that's when it started getting bad with people saying, "Oh, he need to do this," or "You should have told him to do this." I'm like, okay, everybody just shut up talking to me. So, cause y'all should have told me this long time ago, maybe, but like now it's not the time because he's grown. So, like, no. The hardest part for me um, is was discipline.
Mm.
Because sometimes, well, my son anyway, sometimes my son would do something to me and the anger gets out of control for me,
Mm.
if that makes sense. So it's like, sometimes it's like, it's hard to decide what type of disciplinary actions need to take place.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So it's like,
For sure.
do you want to put them in timeout or do you want to beat the brakes off of them? Which one you want to do? It's
Lord
like one
Jesus.
of them. It's like one of them when keeping it real goes wrong stages.
Damn. I definitely agree with both of you guys. I have to agree with Carmen, especially when the children were babies. If like Jace wore his pacifier until he was like 1.5, 2, and people would snatch it out of his mouth or they didn't like it. But also, they didn't live with us and didn't have to deal with him crying. So it's like, I promise you, he'll be fine. But I think we have that in our community a lot. There's this old traditional way of how things are done with babies. They need to be potty trained by this. They need to be you need to be potty trained by this time. You need to be putting food in the bottle at this time. Nothing that was ran by a doctor. Just, just stuff that's been passed down from grandma to big mama to mama. And so you really have to find your own way and do what works for you, because just because your son was able to start pissing on his own at 1 doesn't necessarily mean that mine will be, or but that also doesn't mean they're doomed for life if God forbid he's not potty trained right at 2.5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the thing for sure. But I think the hardest part is just for me. Discipline, yes, that's definitely a part of it, because I'm more so doing now what is called gentle parenting, but I did not always. And usually the foundation you build is with the tools you were sent out into the world with. We got whoopings. So, I mean, trying to transition from that to something new, that was different. Um, but the hardest part for me, I guess, would be just the idea that, man, like, this is more than just my baby. I'm
Hmm.
putting a person into the world, and I'm solely responsible for making sure that they are decent. And that's a really big responsibility, like, especially with boy children, because it's like, I'm a girl. But that part sometimes can be very, good Lord, I do hope I'm doing the right thing ish. So yeah, that would be for me the hardest part. But
And actually, hearing what you just said and also what Ron just said about discipline, I guess I had totally forgot how tough it was at first to discipline them. And like she said, sometimes the anger did get out of control.
yeah.
I really had to step all the way back and
Hmm.
regroup because it was just not pretty. And then also I felt sometimes I was overreacting. I didn't really have an outlet before
Yeah.
for the stress from my job and stuff that I was already dealing with. So I would come home already, I had held my tongue all day at work, and
Hi, Labrika. Hi, Kevin. Go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
now here maybe the kids might bounce a ball or something small, and I was going off. So that
Yeah.
is something that I used to deal with, but I had to really, like I said, just step back, figure out what was going on with me, and then how I
Mm-hmm.
might approach it from here on out. So you can say I've been doing the gentle parenting since, but at first I was almost afraid of myself, just how angry I was getting. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot that though. So
Yeah, man. And it's when I look back now, but also I had my first child at 20. I think you were 20 or 19.
yeah.
And your brain's not even fully developed then. So when I look back now and I see me tearing the behind up of a kid in diapers, it's like, man, I'm first of all, girl, what? The baby barely understand what you're saying, but also I know that it wasn't from a ill-intended place. I was just stressed the entire fuck out, and I don't know how to teach a human how to talk or how to get you to listen other than what I was given. So if I were to have a baby today, it would almost be unfair, to those kids, because they would be getting a different mother. Like, I really love kids and enjoy them. I always have. But like you said, when it's just you and some wailing kid, or the kid just he's just being a kid. just doing normal stuff that children do, but you already on the edge anyway, and you broke this vase, you broke this, and now so definitely understand that. And kudos to anybody out there. This is not a judgment zone. I know that our culture does things one way, and so it's a lot of unlearning that's been going on. But like I said, I wasn't always. I used to keep the paddle in my purse, like get the little ruler in my purse, and but it's all I knew how to do at 20 and 21 years old. And if you couldn't control your kids, that's another thing. Like we were saying earlier, when people want to put their 2 cents out, when you're a young mother and your kids acting a donkey, oh, now you can't control your kids. They running you. That's what's wrong with you young mothers today. So you have to show. It's not even what, like she said, it's not even people who kids I'm watching, and I'm not your child either. But there's that judgment that comes. So I got to keep this baby in line, But like I said, now it would be totally different. I'll probably look at the adult and be like, yes, babies cry. You can continue with your Walmart shopping. But I used to hate hate going to the store because
Well, yeah, also what you just said about you would be a different mother now. I really do feel like each one of my kids has gotten a different version of me, especially the difference between my oldest Cam and my youngest Lauren. So, Cam was there when I was just starting out. Like you said, I was 20. I'm building a business, trying to get myself together, get some stability. But by the time Lauren came along, I'm
pretty Gucci now, yeah.
so her experience is different, and even our day to day, like their reactions to different things that we're going to do or different things that I say, I can always kind of make eye contact with the oldest because she gets me, but she's like in a totally different world, just like, oh, what's the big deal? What do you mean? Yeah, we flying here, we flying there, and hold on, please. So yeah, as you get older, as the mom gets older, hopefully, the mom is getting wiser, learning more, and she's being a different mom to
Yeah.
each one of the kids. So,
Agree. We kind of grew up together because, like I said, I had JJ when I was 20. So now he's about to be 15 and I'm 35. So we kind of grew up together. So definitely understand that. Oh, I've got a fun question. So if you could have one huge gift for Mother's Day, just huge, what would it be?
brand new black on black Cadillac Escalade.
Oh, that sound good.
And it rolled right off the tongue. So just, yes, Cadillac.
I already know. I've
I'm just gonna agree with what she said because that don't sound bad at all.
You know what? I feel like such a bumpkin. I would want an RV. Like I just or not or a travel trailer I can hook to my truck and just a good month or two to just take the kids and just do some sightseeing in it. Like I would like a classy RV, like a yes, like a really nice one. And just go to different cities and camp and build some memories. So now I feel like bumpkin Bumpkin 2.0. I too would like the Cadillac. But I think that, or like a trip to like, they like anime. So maybe just a big trip to like Japan. That would be kind of dope. Which is sad that even my fantasy gifts include them. But for me, and I'm not putting me on nobody, I like doing stuff with them. Like if I have something good, I want to share it with them. So, you know, no, not, I'm not trying to seem like that
everything
person.
is taking us all places. The truck is
True, the Cadillac.
it's for
Agree. Agree.
It's a family
Agree.
Cadillac. Yes. Let's see here. Okay, so if you could get a huge gift for your mother, what would it be?
mm.
Mm.
Oh, she has everything. I don't know. Probably a trip, I guess.
Okay.
I would probably just give my mama a lump sum of money.
Okay.
Cause she always finds stuff to do or wants something. Cause my mother's elderly, so she always ready to get out and about and do stuff and take her trips to Walmart and to the grocery store. So I figure I give her a lump sum of money. She can do whatever she would go to whatever store she want to go to.
Okay. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, so that way she can do what she wants to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Carmen makes a valid point. I don't know. Either like she said, a big trip, maybe just like a week and a half stay in Africa or something like that. I don't even know if she want to do that, but or Paris, yeah, Paris or something like that. I think she would like Paris. So yeah, that would be something I would do. So, what does motherhood mean to you? Like, if you had to sum it up.
Um, Expanding myself to pour into the people I brought into this world. Like you said, helping them to develop into good people, not just good kids. That is what motherhood would be for me.
Okay,
I really don't know where to start because to be honest, I didn't want no kids.
that's fair.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Like motherhood was not a dream of mine.
Lord,
If that makes sense.
no, it does.
I think I was 17, 18 when I had mine. So sometimes he's 21 now. So sometimes I feel like I'm still new to motherhood, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Cause sometimes that motherly nature don't kick in with everybody.
Yeah,
And it didn't kick in with me till later on.
that's
Cause
fair.
a lot of times when I was younger, my mom had my son. Cause we were still living with my mom at the time. So she was a lot of help. She was a lot of help with me
Hmm.
um raising him and bringing him up. Cause I was like, here, get him. Cause I don't know what to do with this. He's crying. What do I do? He just threw up on me. Come get him.
Oh,
He's pissing everywhere. Come get him. So it really didn't. It really didn't like kick in for me until later on.
that's fair. And I want to chime in on that. There may be mothers out there who feel like they are terrible people because as soon as the baby came out the coop shot, they was like hello, and the baby was like hello, and there wasn't
Right,
this
right,
instant connection.
right.
And let me be clear, this is still a stranger. Like
Absolutely,
yes, this is your
absolutely.
baby, and they've been in your tummy, but I think we get so caught up in, oh, that's my child. This is a person, and you don't
Hmm.
necessarily know that person. So especially if, like you said, it wasn't, now if you and your husband have been sitting around praying, y'all done did the in vitro, that's different. But for
Yeah,
a young woman that wasn't really expecting this and the process has not been maybe the greatest, I didn't have the best pregnancy experience.
I know, I
I
know,
was
I
more in
didn't.
survival mode.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the luxury of, oh, the baby is not a luxury that every woman has had. So
yeah.
please don't feel bad. And also postpartum depression is very real.
Hmm.
It doesn't make you the spawn of Satan if when your baby comes out, it's like, what's up, dog? And then the relationship, because is as in with any relationship, it's still a relationship.
Right.
And as you get to know someone, as the baby gets his own personality, you kind of find
Hmm.
this little motherfucker is funny. Like,
Hmm.
like as that goes on and y'all start to bond, there are some people who have mothered that way. Like, I feel like the bond with me and my sons grew with time too. Because as their
Hmm.
personalities developed and I saw how different they were and the things they were into, aside from just uh the babies I feed and clothe. Yes, I
Hmm.
love them, but I actually like them. So I mean, don't feel bad if you're kind of disconnected. Motherhood is hard, pregnancy is hard, so don't let
Hmm.
people guilt you with that. I just want to chime in really quick, you know, with that. But yes, so what does motherhood mean to me? I guess I've never really sat around and thought about it, other than the I saw it described on Facebook in a really cute way. I think it said, and if I misquoted, forgive me. It's like God giving you a star and saying, "Here, keep this shining for me
Hmm.
until I need it back." And I was like,
Mm.
"Damn."
Wow.
Okay, then
Okay.
portrait. I was like, you
Okay.
know what? Okay, because sometimes the hardship of what it can come with um overshadows at the end of the day. God has entrusted me with a human being,
Right.
and I can focus on the hardships. I can focus on who's not doing what. I can focus on those things, or I can really hone in the best I can and just pour love into this little
Hmm.
person, because I have to remind myself this isn't just my son. This may be someone's husband or father one day.
Right. Right.
In fact, more than likely it will be. And if it's not, that's fine too. But if it is, I don't want to be on the other end of your son was a horrible person.
Right,
Well,
right.
damn, because some of that I would have to take responsibility for.
Hmm.
And I want to make sure while they're in my care, if you do go astray, it won't be because mama didn't teach you. It won't be because you never heard that.
Hmm.
So I like that saying of summing up what motherhood is, but for sure. So I guess that would be, yeah, just having someone's life in your hand and doing the best you can
Yeah.
to put a decent person out there without a manual, because there really is none. There really is no manual.
That is a very important thought process. Like you said, you may feel bad or may have felt bad about it, but think, I don't know, I don't want to judge them, but it seems like a lot of mothers of the past did not have that thought.
No.
So now when I deal with, I don't want to call them raggedy men, but when I deal with raggedy men, I don't try to change them. I'm not thinking, oh, what can we do? It's kind of a lost cause at this point because you've been living your whole entire life this way. What I do instead is, okay, this is a conversation I need to have with my boys because
Mm-hmm.
clearly
Hmm.
no one ever told this man X, Y, Z. So, for example, one day we went to grab something out of Family Dollar, and the man in front of us was checking out with his little small red buggy, what's a small little carry, not many items, but was struggling. And I was like, no one ever taught this man how to shop for himself. So
Oh,
let me
I've seen it.
boys know how to shop for themselves. So stuff like that.
Yes.
I like you said, I always think this is a person. This is someone who will be on their own someday, not just my cute kid to dress up and take pictures of.
Facts.
But every time I have ever heard someone say that boys are easier, it's just an instant red flag for me because you're not raising them. It's their
Hmm.
you just decided I don't need to raise this child. I'm just gonna feed it and hope for the best. And that's how we ended up with the raggedy man. So I just
Sorry to the raggedy man. But
but
I totally agree. One thing, how I think of it is, before I saw the star thing, the way I used to think of it is, okay, if I drop dead tomorrow, my job is to make sure, or even if I don't drop dead, when you become
Hmm.
grown, my job as a mother is not, like you said, not to make sure we got cute matching outfits and everybody thinks you're a
Hmm.
heartbreaker. It's for you to not need me or anyone, not in like no unhealthy way, but it's for you to be able to function without me.
yeah, preparation.
Preparing you for the world. Like, if God forbid, because anything could happen. I don't want my son to be the one at the pump struggling because he ain't never pumped gas. As
Right,
someone who has worked
right.
in the medical field and now in insurance, my heart goes out to them. But I talk to so many older men who don't know when their policy starts, when it ends, what bank account is on there, because the wife did everything.
Mm.
I used to talk to men when I worked at the hospital, had never scheduled their own doctor's appointment because the wife did it, and before that, probably the mama did it. So my job is to make sure that, hey, you can function without me if you need to. It
And
sounds harsh, but it is what it is.
well, no, even speaking to that, busting up all the gender stereotypes and making sure that your child, male or female, is ready for the world, I think is really important because
Facts.
what have you been doing all this time? You just floating through life. I mean,
Women have been, anyway, we don't want to get too carried away, but yes, that is how I view how I view
right.
mother. Again, sorry to the raggedy men. But okay. So, do you think that mothers are taken for granted?
Most definitely. Sorry, you didn't even get the question out. So,
Well, damn.
well,
Tell us how you really feel.
I just shared something yesterday. It was a little side by side photos. So it was like the dad changes one diaper and he had a whole town applauding for him. But the mom was broke down like in a pile of blood and sweat and no one said a word. So I've always felt, just from my personal firsthand experience, I've always felt that the mothers are taken for granted. We are held to a very high standard. We have a lot of expectations put in place for us, but the dads just kind of do one thing. And now I don't want to blame the raggedy men, but what I will say is it's probably because in the past, the dads were working and paying all the bills. So maybe back then that was the low bar that they had, to take care of everything financially. That's not the case anymore. So now people are going 50-50 and all this. I think there should be shared responsibility for children and shared expectations now that we're sharing these bills. But
No,
again, I've
sure.
just always felt that it doesn't take much for a man to be a good man, and it takes even less for a man to be a good father. And I've never understood that because he's not doing anything. He's done nothing. But yet people have thrown him a parade. So I've never understood that.
I have patriarchy. Period. Like that's this is what it is. It's like the life goal of women, or so it has been. And times are changing a little bit, but it's pretty much to wed and have children. And so it's expected of mothers to do the things that fathers are praised for because you're a woman, sis. Like you're a mom. You wanna clap for making sure you're now the minute that something's out of place, that's your ass. That is your ass. But you can have your kids' hair done every day, laid, fried, dyed to the side, and the one day she comes to school a little rough. Ooh, child, where's your mama? Your mama let you come out the house like this? Hmm. Okay. Right. What they call the mom? Mammy.
Yeah, Annie.
You got a mammy. You ain't got a mama. And you might not even know their lights are off and the mom is doing the best she can in the dark. Like, but who cares? Like, it doesn't. But meanwhile, like my sister said, so I mean, and shout out to the single dads out there because they do exist. I don't think that was in reference to you.
No, it's not in reference to them. They're not raggedy men, but the ones that are, there's really no question. You don't have to. I don't have to make specific announcements. They may not be aware, but the mom knows. She's talking about my baby daddy right there. I already know.
J, Mr. JD says we catch it too. Laugh out loud. To a certain degree, do I think dads catch heat for sure? But as much as moms do when things go bad, nah, I don't see that.
Let's say your child is playing soccer or something, and you practice 3 days a week. Now, every week for 3 days a week, the mom is there. No one thinks anything of it. The dad shows up one time.
At
Oh
the
my
actual
God,
game.
he's got a great father. He's got a great father. And he showed up one time. That's one out of what, 12 or 15. It's the low percentage. So I don't know. It's just, again, seeing it from my own point of view, I've just always felt a way about it and haven't been a fan because then it boosts the man's head up too. So now everybody's clapping, like, yeah, yeah, and Ed is thinking, I'm great. I'm a great father. They just told me I'm a great father, and you really haven't done anything. So it gives them like an inflated sense of self
Hmm.
that now you're trying to speak to, but he's on a high from the parade they just threw him. So it's like, I'm trying to speak with you. You're up here, but your actions are down here. So what do we do here in this situation?
Oh Lord, I would definitely say
It's
it's a thankless job for sure. The work that goes in the day to day work that goes into motherhood, even with help, even with married women, like my mom. I'm sorry, like my sister was saying, you do the carpooling every morning. You do the sports practices 2 and 3 times a week. You're part of the these are even this is a stay at home mom. I'm talking about. You do the PTA. You do the cupcakes for the birthday. You do a lot, and nobody really blinks an eye because it's expected of you. And like she was saying, the dad might bring cupcakes once, and oh my God, we need more dads like you. And yeah, what about Ma, who who's constantly here, who's constantly there, And again, for the women who cannot be constantly there, which is something I sometimes struggle with because it's just me. And so then you have to deal with the guilt of, well, I want to be there. Now people are assuming he got a mammy, but real talk, if I don't work, the lights getting cut off. So at least I'm making sure he has the money to do the soccer, and I apologize I'm not there. And then you got to deal with that guilt too. It's a thankless job.
A lot
We
of mom.
get we get a little bit of praise this weekend, and then we'll be back to business as usual on Monday. Like,
Even this weekend, people please. If you feel a way about someone's parenting or just whatever, we get one day a year. And today, tomorrow is not the day for your soliloquy on how mothers have done this and that and they used to be this. And don't do that tomorrow. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Because I'm already ready to cuss you out. I just started cussing.
even how you said cussing, I just started cussing. Whose auntie is this?
Listen, only day 5, so but I am ready. So I hope nobody is with the mother slander this weekend. 'Cause I am not.
And every year, like clockwork, since like 2017, they have been letting us know weeks ahead of time for Father's Day. Don't you say it. And what's crazy is I always see way more posts saying "Don't you say it" and "Don't be coming on here talking about you the mother and the father," which I don't know anyone that really says that in real life. Instead of actual pictures of your fine ass dad, like we and like we trying to see the daddies too, and y'all flooding the
Right.
timeline with "Don't be talking about you mom and daddy." Okay, well, same thing tomorrow. Let's see everybody's beautiful mothers. Save your bitter, soliloquy about your baby mama for another day. It's we like we literally on this podcast alone have done a podcast called Modern Mothers Do They Deserve a Break, that was talking about the memes that were circulating, talking about how modern moms are lazy, blah blah blah. The Black was silent. We've done the War on Stepdads, which is talking about how single mothers don't deserve love. It's just we get it a lot. So it would be nice to have this one little weekend without your projected unhealed feelings clogging up the airwaves.
Thank
But
you.
yeah. So I mean, Ron, your son's a little bit older. Did you always feel? Because I know you said there were some angry moments. So did you sometimes feel unappreciated?
Okay, so there was this one situation. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say I felt unappreciated. I'm gonna say he took my authority for granted.
Hmm.
Cause I remember he told me I wasn't his mother. Okay.
Ooh.
So it was a keeping it real. It was a long pause. It was a keeping it real go wrong situation. So what I did, I said, okay, I'm not your mother. I stopped doing all motherly duties.
Damn.
Seriously. Like, so that means you can't do nothing without me. So you couldn't go here, you couldn't buy this, you couldn't eat this, nothing. I was on strike, literally, for at least maybe, I want to say maybe it lasts about a
Oh.
week, week and a half, and he broke down. So yeah,
How old was he at that time?
it was in his teenage. I can't remember the
Oh,
exact
okay.
age, but it was around the teenage time, and I forgot. And this him calling me now.
Well, it's nice to know things are back on back on course. I can't believe he hit you with that. You're not my mom. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, my eyes got big like a cartoon character. Like what?
Boing.
What? What?
Yes. Oh
But yeah, after
Lord.
he said that, it was like, all right, I ain't your mama. I can deal with that. I ain't want no kids, no way. So like, that's cool. I'm gonna go back in the bed. You cannot do, you can't do anything. You can't do anything without me. So
I've got the money and the keys. So where you
yeah,
going?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, we had to deal with that. He actually had to. I be joking with him every other day. I say, "Oh, you only here by the grace of God, because you just don't know how bad of a parent I was like, you just don't know how much we struggled dealing with you and me growing up together at the same time. I said that was wild. I said you're here by the grace of God,
Amen and amen.
we always laugh and laugh and joke about it and stuff like that. But we have definitely we do have a closer relationship, and I think that's just based on the fact that because we were young,
Yeah.
we because we were young, so we definitely do have a like people you when we used to walk around, people used to think we was brothers and sisters because we was always laughing and joking and stuff like that.
Oh.
But we do have a very close relationship. He do talk to me about he talks to me about all kind of stuff. So that's one of the good things about it. And I also believe I know God knew what he was doing when he gave him to me, because even like during my illnesses my son took care of me. So
Oh.
he was always there when I was laying in the bed, hospital bed and stuff like that. He was always there, in the hospital pushing buttons and stuff, messing with the bed. And when I come home, he'll bring, even now, if I tell him to bring me, if I say I don't feel good, like I wasn't feeling good this morning, he brought my water, brought my ibuprofen and all kind of stuff. So yeah.
Oh.
So we have a pretty good relationship, and some people always ask, how a relationship get so close. I'm like, well, I mean, I have a son. He has to be a man, so I have to, raise him like one per
Yeah.
se. Not saying I know how to raise a man, but saying like you was talking about earlier, like he put gas in the car, he put air in the tires. When we gotta go to the auto zone or something like that, I send him in there and tell him what I need and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, that was really sweet. So,
Mhm.
and I have been to like older people's funerals. I'm not gonna lie, it's usually men, but and I feel so almost heartbroken. You feel kind of sorry for people that they've got buku kids, and maybe some came, maybe they didn't. Nobody wants to get up and speak at the funeral or anything like that. Or when they get older in age, the kids are nowhere to be found because when it was time, to be there, you were not. And it's like I did see something on Facebook that said the best way to tell how you did as a parent is how your kids behave when they no longer need you to survive. And that's always been my thing. Like I always will just be watching TV and I'm like, y'all remember when you get grown, come see me at least once a week, come watch a show
Mm-hmm.
with me because I desire that. So now I'm putting the work in now, like you said, to build the relationship. And people ask like, but any relationship is built, is work. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a thankless job. It is. They don't always, they will. I will say this: they will show their gratitude like out of nowhere. Be like, thanks, mom. They're good kids,
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but sometimes, be like, okay, like you said, okay, well, how about I just don't get that? Oh no, no, mom. Okay, keep in mind.
yeah.
But
Am I
that's okay because technically they didn't ask to be here. Like
Right.
some older school parents, like Generation X or whatever, um, they're so hung up on that they forget sometimes the children didn't ask to be here. So
Mm-hmm.
while I do like being appreciated. You don't have to grovel at my feet and throw flowers as I walk because I gave you life. That was my choice. So is it a thankless job? Yes. But is it rewarding? It is.
mhm.
It is. Like I said, I feel bad for that. Like parents, let's say they were in the situation you were in, like when you was in the hospital, that the kids know, but they're not coming. Like somebody told them through the grapevine, but they're probably because
Mm-hmm.
when it was your turn, your time to be that for them, you just weren't. So I
Which
know I don't want
I
that.
find that has become more common, or I guess more spoken about now. People that have estranged relationships with their parents or with their family. In the past, I think we were just told to respect your elders no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, no matter how you were
What?
raised,
Yeah.
if you were abused or whatever, you still were supposed to pay your respects to these people. And now, instead, I think people are if we're not getting actual apologies and change behavior, any type of healing going on, just blood is thicker than water. I think now in this day and age, people aren't just dealing with that. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship that was built in the past and the foundation that was laid is very important. So a lot of times it seems like people are expecting closeness that they didn't cultivate in the past. So
Speak
even though
on it.
you've known me my whole life, we are related, but I don't fully know you. So you're
Mm-hmm.
wanting me to act a way that I don't know you very well. So why would I come by? Why would I call? Why would I visit? I don't know you.
Facts.
So I wish that if anything, the older generation would realize like it's not somebody wilding out or being rude or being disrespectful. The foundation is shaky. You're
Mm-hmm.
on shaky ground. So, or
True.
you weren't there, but now you're suddenly ready in your older years. Now you're suddenly ready for this love and connection that you never gave. So, that's interesting to see. I somehow I follow a lady on TikTok that her children don't speak to her at all. And at first, she was like, screw this generation, screw them. And now it's been more of, I didn't do my part. I dropped the ball. It may be too late for me to change. I wasn't there when they needed me. And she's asking for, like, what can I do? Or what do you think about this or that? But at first, she was just like, F 'em. And I was like, well, this may be why they're not coming by right here. So that's been really interesting to see. But again, I think in the past, people were just like, that's family. You
Mm-hmm.
What is this accent?
Look from the past.
By Amblin. But no, I completely agree. One thing I would never do on this platform is fix my black ass mouth to tell anybody to deal with anybody, especially something as sacred as a parental figure, just because they are a parental figure.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that if when you were defenseless, because that's what a child is defenseless, you got the short end of the stick. I'm not gonna be like, and to my people that have lost their parents, I know that's not the intention, and my heart is definitely with y'all. But you have to be careful when someone is telling you my mother is toxic or my father is toxic. It's Mother's Day,
Mm-hmm.
so we talking about mothers, or she was abusive, or she's a narcissist. So that is why I do not deal with her. Oh wow, I lost my
Still your
mama.
mom. That's still your mom.
And if I could only have another chance, but this is the difference. Your mother was loving. You mourn her because she cared, not just because she was your mom. That
Mm-hmm.
person's experience is different. So two things can be true at the same time. If you had another chance, you would. This person has a chance and they don't want to. And I respect it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine being a kid who is literally terrified to come to the place where you're supposed to feel safe.
Mm.
Especially if you're dealing with an adult who, like my sister was saying, hasn't healed, hasn't apologized, hasn't taken
Mm-hmm.
accountability. Nah, nah, not on this platform. I will not. So this show is about the good moms, in case that wasn't understood. But also, our heart is with the people out there that this is a triggering day for. Yes, maybe for the ones who lost their mother, that could be a trigger. But for the ones whose mom is living but dead to them, that's a real thing. So
Mm-hmm.
sending love your way. So yeah. How let's see. Let's do 3 tips for new moms. What 3 tips would you guys give?
Um, One, find at least one support person. I was gonna say find a support system, but at least one person that you can trust with your actual feelings, because not to you up. Well, I guess you're on the show, but I remember when you first had JJ and y'all's very first Christmas, you didn't want to come out or talk to anybody and all this, but you told me what was actually going on. So although our family was like, "Where's she at? Why is she in here?" I was able to speak directly to you, and you told me, "Well, this is how I'm feeling, and I just feel like I'm not doing my best as a mom." And we were able to talk about it instead of the whole family just jumping on you or like, where's she at? So I think it's very important to have at least one support person that you trust. Two, like we said a second ago, develop some thick skin. People are going to be coming with the 2 cents, but along with that thick skin, I want to say, be okay with telling people no, or I didn't ask you for this advice. That's something I would tell my younger self. I would just listen to whatever they had to say and feel bad because I didn't know. So thick skin and make space for yourself. Always remember that you are still a person, a woman outside of being a mom. You still have needs and desires that need to be taken care of. So always hold some little space for yourself.
Okay. Miss Ron.
Okay, so I gotta have 3 tips. Okay, gosh. Okay, so I don't know if I have three, but I have one for. Definitely have one for sure. So here's the thing. The thing is, and I be telling people this like, and people can feel how they want to feel about it. It's trial and error. We're not perfect. When we became mothers, whether it was planned or surprise, we didn't get a handbook. I didn't.
Nope.
I didn't get a handbook that says this is what you're supposed to do if this happens. This is what you're supposed to do if this happens. So like, it's honestly because I know for a fact if I was to have another child right now, I would definitely be a completely different parent than I was when I was 17, 18 years old. Definitely be
Right.
a completely different parent. So motherhood is pretty much life. Period. Really, it's all trial and error. So don't beat yourself up if you don't do some. If you feel like you don't do something right, if you don't get it right, like don't beat yourself up behind it.
Mm.
That would be my main one. Two, find somebody find somebody that will be there for you, and not. And what I mean by that is sometimes we just need to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And we sometimes we don't need your opinion either. Sometimes we have to talk just to release stuff. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know my child has done many things, and sometimes I just needed somebody to talk to. So sometimes we don't want your opinion. We don't want you to do this. We don't need to hook up on this. I don't need you to come babysit. I just need to release. So just like find you somebody that you can release to, because sometimes we have to release whatever we have going on, and that helps. That helps a lot. Number three, don't give up on your kids.
Um,
Don't do that. Don't have me mushy. Don't have see. This why I ain't want to come on here because I don't like talking mushy. I don't like talking mushy stuff. But no, seriously, like don't give up on your kids because they're gonna do some stuff. Because I know I. It was a point in time when I was like, babe, I'm gonna hand you over to God and gone on about my business. It was a whole nother besides the part where he told me I wasn't his parent. But
girl.
there was another situation. I'm like, babe, I'm just gonna hand you over to God and go on by my business. But don't give up on your kids. Look, it's trial and error for them too, because they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know because we don't know.
Yeah.
We all trying. Me and my son have been in the kitchen trying to cook, and we all burnt up food together. We just gonna starve today because we can't get this shit right.
Damn. Not the
Damn,
burnt food.
that's what both of us said. Looking at the food like, damn, we
Mm.
just have to drink this milk till I can get to the store in the morning.
Thank God for DoorDash.
And to add to the first tip that she said, when she was saying it, I thought something, but didn't want to interrupt. I often have to remind myself that bad parents are not thinking about how they can be better or if they're doing good or anything at all. So
Facts.
I know it's easy to say, don't be so hard on yourself, but that's one thing when I am feeling the mom guilt or whatever, I have to think, me would not be having these thoughts at all. She's living life. She's out. She's living life. So at least I am
Yeah.
thinking about how I can improve. And I'll even ask them sometimes, not all the time, but ask them like, is there anything you think I could do better or differently? You know, anything that could improve our relationship or your life or whatever. So
And you
that,
know what? I be asking my son that. But like, soon as I learned to figure him out, like I was like, okay, he's like another me. Like he act just like me. So even the times when I have like yelled at him, I'll take a few moments, and I've honestly have apologized to him because I know for a
Hmm.
fact I don't like nobody yelling at me.
Facts.
So I'm like, I know how I feel when people yell at me. So I once I take a breather, you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, and I text them and I just be like, hey, look, this morning, I didn't mean to yell at you. This is what I have going on. I was stressed out from work or whatever, and then here you come with the rigmarole. So you just pushed me, nigga. You pushed me.
Damn. Yeah. I will say that grace is definitely, it's a term that's been around with the church, but as
Mm-hmm.
far as actually showing it to other humans and showing it to yourself is really a new conversation. Grace was just something we heard about in church that God had for people, but it wasn't something we were necessarily taught to have for ourselves or for our children. So most of the time our anger or how we would respond to them is because we weren't showing ourselves grace. So how can I show you something or give you something that I wasn't given? You know,
Mm-hmm.
society don't give me grace because I'm a
Right.
black young single mother. If I mess up, I don't get grace. So in turn, when you mess up, you don't get grace. And you really have to unlearn that. It's not an easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to raise children. You don't want to send that spirit back into the next generation of
Right.
perfectionism or always been on pins and needles or not being authentic, because again they are going to be parents too. And let's see, I guess, let me see, three tips. Okay, this is for the women that are already moms, because I was gonna say before you even get there, you know, don't get there unless you are absolutely financially ready, spiritually, physically ready.
Ooh.
Like it is literally dying to self, and if that's not something you and your funds are ready to do, remain on birth control or do what you have to do. But that's another
Mm-hmm.
story for another day. But so for the ladies who are already moms, and new moms at that, yes, you wanna be as present as you can. But if you're not stable, if you're not where you should be, especially financially, that can be hard to do. I saw a post the other day on Facebook. I hate to keep quoting Facebook, but it was good. It was like talking about how the woman looks back on the baby pictures and feels sad because she wasn't really present because she was so busy trying to survive. And that's something I've dealt with. I look back on those photos and like, damn, like I was there, but not really, because either I was trying to survive or make somebody's raggedy son act right. So
I get it.
so for you guys that have the babies now, I would say focus on stability first. Like, yes, love on the kid, be there for the kid, be present for the kid. But if you have to keep your head down and go to school for 2 years to secure a job that is not stressful and that will keep you guys afloat, or if you're working on a business and you have to put your head down, the time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well be working towards getting you and that baby stable, because when you're good, the baby's good. When y'all are good, less of that angry stress, ass whoopings from stress roll over because I'm in a good side of the place. I'm making good money. I can enjoy this kid now. Like, even if you have to take a season out of your life to get that shit together, it too, now we can go to Disney World. Now we can live in a nice neighborhood, stuff like that, instead of constantly, struggling. So if you're already in it, the baby already here, it's not selfish if the people around you find, like my sister said, find somebody that, okay, while I'm in school at night, we'll watch the baby because I gotta
Mm-hmm.
get to a salary where I'm comfortable and where this baby is comfortable, so we can enjoy each other while they are yet still children, because the years do indeed go by.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really shocked. I'm gonna have a 15-year-old. Didn't I just bring you home? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you look up and then, dang, so much of that time went by because you were there. but you were in survival mode. So the best way to not be in that mode, if you're already in it, it's too late to whatever. If you don't necessarily have a loving partner, whatever, do what you have to do for you and that baby, no matter what it looks like. Whether it's going back to school, learning to get a skill, learn to do hair, whatever you got to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you guys are good, point blank, period, whether someone is there or not. Tip number two, I'm just gonna bounce off what they said. We live in a different time now. Therapy was not a thing when I
Mm-hmm.
had either child. It was very taboo. The only people that attended therapy were couples. So anyone else that went to therapy, we assigned is crazy. But now it's not taboo. Get if you can't find a person in your life to talk to, even if you can, even if you got Medicaid, you can get a therapist. You can
Mm-hmm.
get a therapist with self pay, and of course, you can get it through your employer's insurance as well. Have someone you can talk to and vent to and be real with so that you don't carry too much weight on your shoulders because it is a heavy job. We see stories about women who drove themselves and the kids off the bridge, and they probably just needed some help. But who can you turn to in a society that is constantly damning, damn if you do, damn if you don't? So these people are paid to listen. And I know that sounds very superficial, but okay, let them do their jobs.
Yeah. And
And it,
Mm-hmm.
so unbiased listening ear. Sometimes when you're talking to friends and family, they always take your side because they love
Yeah.
you. And sometimes you are not right. So this person, they get paid no matter what you decide to do. So I found it's been helpful to speak to someone who's outside of the situation, and so I can hear like a real answer, a real solution instead of
yeah.
my cousin is gonna always have my back. F you, F all y'all. And so you could be steering me in the wrong direction because you're on Team Carmen. Whereas this person, as long as you got the check, I don't care what you do.
As long as the insurance money clears,
So
I'm going. I'm going to do my job, and you'll receive a bill if for some reason it don't. Like, there's no shame to it. And if you are still at a stage where you're kind of shamed, guess what? Ever since COVID, there's virtual options. I see my therapist virtually.
Yeah, when I was seeing my therapist, it was virtually as well.
So if you're not at the play, hey, you're a mom. You might can't get a sitter. The baby got to sit in the playpen, sit in front of the laptop, and do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So find some, and also Facebook is so awesome because there are mom groups, and sometimes they meet in real life. Like join these mom groups. I'm part of Black Moms. DFW moms, Black Fort Worth moms. Like there are groups, Black Raising Black Boys. They are free. Join them. Ask your questions in there. If it's a big old scary question, ask it as an anonymous person, and just find community. Find community for you and your children because you are important. Tip number three, I guess, like my sister said, I was very lucky. I had shout out to Labrick, and I mention this all the time. She was just very big on when I was pregnant. Like, don't forget that you're still an artist. Don't forget that
Mm-hmm.
you are really talented. Like, cause I was so like laser focused. I was like, okay, I used to man, getting ready for the baby was my second job. Like, I would work at the hair store during the week, and then on the weekends I would be at garage sales. I would after work I would go to merits for mom. I was on it. Like I was like, okay, baby coming. It's time to get real. So like everything was like a second job, as far as the kid. So the kid. But and so I had her to remind me, like that's good and all, and I'm glad to see you preparing, but try not to forget you are still Jordan. Like I hadn't come up with the name Courtney Lyric yet, but still be you.
Mm-hmm.
Have a personality and a life of your own. We actually talked about that on last week's podcast about single moms dating. Have a life of your own because yeah, there's babyhood, and eventually, before you know, the baby is out the door, and the whole 19 years of your life have been Sam and his life and his games and his etc. And now you don't know what to do with yourself. You might as well be called home to glory because you have no purpose. You have nothing without this child. So be a person, and that's not bad. Like there was a lot of mom guilt. Am I allowed to go out? I don't know, sitter. I don't know if I do get a sitter, I should be doing something productive, not to hell with all that. They actually have apps now where you can pay people to watch your kids if you can't, be safe. But if If you have to pay somebody, do what you gotta do. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
find free stuff to do what you gotta do. Get a hobby, learn to crochet, go fishing, whatever makes you feel like, okay, yes, I am a mother, but I'm also me, like I'm that nigga. So
There's a movie about this very thing. Angela Bassett is one of the moms. I want to say the movie is called Mother's Day, but I don't want to be loud or wrong. But it's three moms, and all of their kids are now grown, gone off to college, or moved out, and they don't know what to do with themselves now that they don't have kids in the house. And oh, it is called Mother's Day because they would all meet up on Mother's Day every year. And the kids like were off doing their own thing, and they decide to go into town to visit the kids because they all forgot Mother's Day. So it was really interesting just to see how supportive, moms, great moms to small kids, they grew older but did not have lives of their own. And then two of the three women lost their husbands. One was divorced, one died, and they just real deal had no life at all outside of being a mom and a wife. So it was a really interesting movie. Um, I want to say it's called Mother's Day, but I know for sure Angela
or is it
Bassett.
called Empty Nesters? Maybe
I know.
I don't know.
I know she's in it.
Angela Bassett or Angela like who do you say?
Angela Bassett.
Hmm.
She's one of the moms, and I want to say it's called Mother's Day. Hmm.
We shall Google it after the show. It's probably gonna come to you as soon as we log off. But
I'm pretty.
yeah, was that three? I feel like it was. But yeah, have a life of your own. Don't lose yourself. It's very easy to do because it's a full time
Mm-hmm.
job. Like even sleep is hard to get when you have. Neither one of my boys slept all the way through the night until they were one. So even sleep is hard to get as a mother. But if you can't do nothing but journal until you get right or financially stable so where you can do more things freely, if you can't do nothing but journal, have you a special show that you watch, you know a little podcast that you listen to, have something that is your own and don't just lose yourself.
I do
So
want to
yeah.
speak also to what you said about being financially stable. So I'm in this group. It started off with people asking about brows and lashes and stuff, but now we're giving life advice every day. So in the group, someone asked, she said, my partner and I are wanting to have children. What type of financial things should we prepare for, or should we have a certain amount of money or whatever? Everyone in the comments told them there's no preparing, the baby will be fine. It was a bunch of bad advice. So I commented to say, glad that you're considering the financial responsibilities of bringing another person into the world. This is a good thing that you're trying to do. Don't let all these people talk you out of it because you really are going to be paying for a lot of stuff when your
Mm-hmm.
child comes along. But really, I was the only one out of hundreds of comments. Everybody was just like, "Nah, the baby come, the baby be good. You have a baby shower, the baby good." And I was just so confused because it wasn't just saying it, it was them as well. And I was like, y'all out here like this? Oh, I
Right.
didn't know it was raggedy like this. So being
That's gonna be my new word, by the way. I'm just letting you know now.
Raggedy,
I'm
raggedy.
gonna wear raggedy. I'm gonna wear it out. Wear it out.
it's a lot, I feel a lot nicer than
Bum.
so many things I could
Broke
say.
down. I don't know. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
is the synonym?
So many things, it covers so many things. So
I think maybe because and the projection is very real. I was able to do it with little to no money in the bank, so you can too. And never will I fix my mouth to say the poor do not deserve to have children because there are so many things that contribute to avoiding having kids, and
Mm-hmm.
the money to afford things like birth control and you know, family planning is one of those things. But I remember when I was dating this Nigerian guy and he had a bank account of like 37K that he just has been saving for a child he does not have yet. He don't have children. And so I thought it was a little intense at first, but then I was like, imagine having a child with somebody like that who has been truly preparing, you know what I'm saying, to bring a life into the world. because a job can't feel like we just gonna, the baby gonna be fine. What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
That have a baby shower, thrift shop. You can get food stamps and WIC and Medicaid. I mean, which those things are true, but it was just strange to see so many people suggesting you just throw caution to the wind and bring somebody else into the world. I was like, y'all.
It's going for me, it's gonna always be a financial struggle. Period. I don't feel like you could. I don't feel like you could ever fully prepare for a
Yeah.
child. And
I
I'm not saying it as a not
Yeah.
necessarily as a not I don't I'm not saying it necessarily as a bad thing, but I just feel like you could never be fully prepared for a child.
I think you can. I just based on what I said a little earlier about the difference between my oldest and my youngest. The oldest, I'm 19, 20, barely able to take care of myself. By the time I had the youngest, I could get any and everything that I wanted to get for her with ease. So I think
Yeah.
that definitely can be, but is there ever a right time? Is there ever 100% this is a good time? I don't know. But I do think if you're not able to take care of yourself and have a stable home, like Jordan said, it's not always an option, but I would suggest not bringing someone into the world at that time. Um,
Agree.
I know that a lot of people are against abortions. And I just think that they don't realize sometimes it's stuff like this. So it could be a married couple. They thought they were being safe or whatever the case may be. And then they got pregnant again. Well, they have 4 children already. And now
Yeah.
they don't bring another mouth in because they're already feeding 6 people every day. So it's just I wish I could find that actual post that I'm talking about and show y'all because it was so bad. Everybody was just like, "Nah, bring that baby in," and hold
No,
on.
I don't want to see the dust. No, thank you. And like she's saying, I hate to say it, but I kind of agree with those people. Had you asked me that in my 20s, um, we were very much church girls, and abortion was just something you did not, giving your baby up was something you just did not, you really weren't even supposed to be having sex before marriage. But my perspective is a lot different now, having raised children. It is a thankless, hard ass job. And if you are truly not ready, it look into the options because it's more than you that suffers, it's that child. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in poverty takes a toll on a person when it could have been avoided had there been preparation. So, like I was saying earlier, my tips were for the ladies that are already in it. But to the ladies who are not in it, if being a mother is something you truly want to do, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. We have people that adopt, we have surrogacy, all that type of stuff. If it's genuinely something you want to do, I'm always keep it real with you. The job is fucking hard, but think of the baby, think of that person, and also think of yourself. If you have money set aside, if you are stable, that's less stress on you.
Yeah,
Like especially if you're older and you wish to be pregnant, like maternal death for women over 35, especially black women, is extremely high. Why overstress yourself working 3 jobs? You know what I'm saying? So just no judgment here to those people. But sometimes it can be selfish to be like, oh, I'm gonna have his baby and he's an idiot and you're not in a good place in life. Where does that leave this baby? Like,
I
mm,
know a lot of people like to mention Kiki White, but I feel like, and I don't know her personal business, but it seems to be she can afford to have as many children as she wants to have. She's not
yes,
asking us for help. She seems to be doing okay. But whereas sometimes people you already had me helping with this child, and now you're bringing another one in. Like we were barely handling him. So
yeah,
it's a lot, and even that I could go a little bit deeper about how the system is set up for lower income people to fail. I feel a way about it because they recently stopped abortions, and I just think about all the children that are now being brought into the world that really the family did not want them to be here, and so of course they're not going to say, I guess, out loud like this has increased or that has increased, but that's been on my mind. I don't know why. That's been on my mind since they changed the law. What was that, last year or so?
Oh yeah, Roe versus Wade was overturned or returned. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like 2 years ago. Yeah, and I always wanted to adopt. It's something that I like. I said, I love children. I wouldn't mind adopting, but it's a big. I will never until I am all the way straight. If I cannot afford a nanny, and we are all the way straight, there will be no adoption because why take you out of there to come over here and struggle? Oh, that is another tip. Um, we actually talked about this on the Modern Moms Do They Need a Break podcast. Oh, yes, you do. And I have noticed that for some reason, black women are the only people who are really nailed to the cross for thinking they need a break or asking for a break, whereas other races of women have been hiring nannies, have been paying for weekends off, have been having help since the early 50s, 60s, really since slavery. Um, I really hope we can normalize that amongst our community as well, because talk about a stress reliever, but even to have a nanny costs money. So that's why I would say, get the support that you need straight as far as finances, but also have something set up to where you can get breaks. If you got to kick somebody $50, every now and then, so to watch the baby, so that if you don't want to do nothing but sleep, have your breaks, because I think a lot of that stress and these nervous breakdowns and situations that are going awry are from women that just didn't get a chance to breathe. So, parents, we're
And
talking about mothers today.
even that, when you're saying about the taking the breaks and all this, not feeling guilty for putting your child maybe in an after school program or some type of activity so that you can just have a little tiny bit of space and time for
Hmm.
yourself. Again, the mom guilt is so strong. You feel bad, well, I'm not working, so he doesn't need to go to daycare today.
Shit.
But actually, time for you to get some rest, do something for yourself or just relax. So, again, with the mom guilt, trying to overcome that and really just think about your needs as a person, no matter
Yeah.
someone else may or may not have done, you've got to really, really just think about yourself. Like we talked about earlier with the anger being out of control, that was my solution. I started doing what I call do nothing days. So at that time, children were all pretty small. Lauren had just come along. I was working, running the shop and stuff. So I would take one day of the month to really just do nothing. And I'll never forget when I first started doing it, it was a day when the kids were supposed to be with their dad, but I think somebody had left a backpack at home or something like this, so they had to come to my house to get it. Well, he was shocked, and I mean shocked to see me at home just laying down. And he was like, I'm out here taking these kids here and there, and what are you doing? Today is my do nothing day, and these are your children. So it's not that you're babysitting or doing something special or fancy. These your kids. So I was so glad that I started that though, and that was like a pivotal moment for me seeing an improvement with my relationship with my children. Because although I always loved them, but when I was just like stretched so thin, it was too easy for me to snap or go
Yeah.
off books. So yeah, I always tell people that that was like the best thing I could have ever done for myself. Taking, really, it sounds like nothing, but taking just one day to do nothing improved the quality of my life so much. Now, of course, since then the do nothing days have stretched to like massages and vacations and stuff, but at first that was the only thing that I could do, just really sitting at the house and doing nothing. But it improved my life so much.
Right.
So, something I would highly recommend to other moms out there.
Facts. I like that. I like that. I remember watching. This is back when y'all know Kim Zolciak, was on the Housewives of Atlanta, and I remember Nene went in on her saying she wasn't a real mother because she had nannies, and I remember at that time agreeing with her because Nene black, I'm black, we was sold the same thing, and I was like, damn, she right. She ain't no real mama. She's right. Because she was like, we both got two kids. She was like, well, I take care of my kids. You have nannies. I mean, really like it was an insult. But in retrospect, Nene was just raised in an environment where she did not see women get help. Therefore, she thought it was normal to not get help and almost an insult or made you less of a mother um, if you got help. And I think that's kind of a lie that has been sold to black women. Again, I don't see this problem amongst, and maybe Hispanic women, but I really don't see this amongst other races as much, that you are less than if you're not doing all the motherfucking work. And I'm so glad we're growing out of that. Nini's a bully. She is. I mean, she was already talking about the girl wig, but then she's like, "You don't raise them. You don't talk to them. Ah, they got." And meanwhile, her son ended up getting, in some trouble. So I mean, I would keep my mouth off of people's motherhood, especially if they're finding a positive way that isn't hurting anyone to navigate that shit. Like, don't be mad because you have the money and chose not to get the nanny. Like, or you don't have the money and maybe that's why you mad. I don't know. But I do remember at that time agreeing with her, like, yeah, she right. She ain't no real mama. Cause I was in my, I'm JJ's 3 or 4 and it's me all by myself. And I'm like, you are right. She ain't no real mama. She ain't out here doing this. And maybe she wasn't. Perhaps she was smart and I was not. So I mean, now I see it as a completely different way. I'm not having another child the first until I can get a nanny. It ain't got me no live in nanny, but if you can't come every day, oh, y'all gonna be waiting for that little girl. That's it. But all right. So before we go, did you ladies have anything y'all wanted to add to the motherhood conversation for Mother's Day?
I feel like everything I've said has kind of come back to the same point and speaks to what you just said again. Just moms out there, give yourself some grace. Don't feel guilt about needing a break and needing to rest because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know we hear that all the time, but actually having lived through that and trying to still take care of other people when I wasn't taking care of myself, I would not recommend to anyone at all.
Mm,
Don't feel bad about needing a break.
amen. Amen. I agree with that. Man, I had just thought of something. Oh yes, and I think part of the reason, and I love that our culture is kind of coming up out of that. The reason it appears so easy to everyone, including our kids, is because there wasn't vulnerability. There was a like that meme that was going around that we did the podcast about, y'all ain't strong like y'all grandmother. They never asked for no breaks. And it's because they first of all asked who and who would have even listened and who could even afford them a break. Like that's it's a different time now. Your grandmother wasn't allowed to say anything. She couldn't even open a bank account in her own name. So this is a different season and this is a different time. Like my sister said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It is already a thankless job. But part of the reason that people think it is so easy is because we, especially as black women, make it look easy as fuck. I tell my kids, I'm very vulnerable with them, making sure that they understand it's not them, but this is hard. Because hey, I don't want you to end up in this. I don't want you to be a baby daddy if you can help it, not a young one anyway. This was hard. You know what I'm saying? You guys have been great. But this is not easy. I share those struggles with them. Whereas I ain't gonna lie, our mom was a lot more strengthy. And so if there were struggles, at least I did not really know about them because
Yeah,
she did a great job of keeping those things out of our face. And while it's very honorable, on the other end, it made sometimes motherhood look really easy. So so sometimes you have to have those hard and uncomfortable conversations and not to guilt your children by any means, but just to be real with them. Look, you're a wonderful blessing, but this is hard and you better make sure you're ready for it before you indulge. And those kind of conversations were not being had when we were young women. And then that same society turns around and is mad at you because you were a single mom at a young age. Well, no one was telling me I shouldn't be. Not really. So, and no one was, so that's what I'm saying. Like, be real with your kids. You ain't gotta guilt. Like I said, don't have to guilt them. There's a balance and a healthy way to do everything, but also let them know, like, before you start bringing me grandbabies, this is a thankless
I
job. There is no
did
reward.
100 times. Just in case anyone was unclear, it's a thankless job.
There is no thank you. You have to work very hard for very little pay outside of the appreciation that you sometimes get from your family. So before you decide to do this, be ready. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. like, well,
Also, sorry, one more thing.
go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with deciding you don't want to be a mother. I've seen a lot of people try to guilt other folks into having kids because they have kids. But if you know already it's not for you, you're not about this life, it's cool. It's totally fine. You know, you
Facts.
have control over your uterus, and these other people trying to guilt you into having children will not be there with you raising it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You when the
definitely
day
not.
of the night will not help you at all. They're actually going to judge you more for being a bad mom. So don't
Mm-hmm.
do what you know is best for you.
Big facts. Let me chime up that before we go because it's your life, and like she was saying, these things. I remember I actually had had my pregnancy test at Hope Abortion Clinic because back then you could get the pregnancy test for like $20. I don't know, and the picketers were outside. You know, da 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 da. I ain't never seen them people again. Them the people that got their judgments about what you should and should not do with your womb will not be there in the middle of the night. Won't be at Walmart to help you buy nothing. Won't be at the child care center to help make not a damn payment. It is you, and the world will be looking at you for it to be you. So if children is not something that you want to have or are not ready to have, please do not let people that ain't finna do shit for that child guilt you into something you're not ready for. So all right, ladies. Well, is there any place that the people can find you?
I'm AskCarmen Tv again on TikTok. I make cooking videos. Brow Baby University on Facebook. I do brows as well, and Instagram is kind of just hodgepodge of them both. So
Nigga, hodgepodge. What? What do that even mean?
On all the social media platforms, I am Run Brown on everything, and also my website, www.iamrunbrown.com, and of course, follow me on Facebook as well.
Okay. Oh, before I go, this is to the honorary mamas. First of all, I've been so blessed with god mamas throughout my life, and I actually lost two of them to health issues a few years ago. Even if you are not physically someone's child, celebrate mother, physically someone's mother, baby godmamas, god aunties, those women that fill in the gaps are so
Mm-hmm.
fucking important. So if you are that in somebody's life, a young person, hell, just another friend's life, you are a motherly figure. Please know that this day is for you too, because those mother figures, they matter. They're really big in our community and they do matter. Like I baby, so many of God mamas was babysitters, food cookers, come through and clean the house after the pregnancyers. So I mean, this is for God mamas too. Even if you're not an official biological mother, if you are a motherly figure in the classroom, if you are a motherly figure in the community amongst your family, this is for you as well. Happy Mother's Day because that does count and it does matter. So
yeah, thank you. Round of applause for those people. Thank you.
baby. Had shout out to Miss Eshka, rest in peace. Had plates ready for me when I got out the hospital, came and saw the baby, put the food in. Like that stuff is important. So shout, and I'm not her daughter. So I mean, I'm just friends with her daughter. So shout out to her. Rest in peace. That was a really sweet lady. Love her. But yes, so you can find me at Courtney Lyric Presents. That is my nomenclature, my handle on all platforms, and also the website is www.courtneylyric check out my new documentary, The Big Black Girl. It's about just the life of being a tall African American female, and we're almost at 1,000 views. Hey, so check that out on YouTube when you get a chance. Thank you for joining us tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all of the bio moms, adoptive moms, spiritual moms out there. Enjoy your weekend.
Yep.
And if you know a mom, go ahead, Carmen.
I was just adding in the stepmoms also.
Oh yeah, step. Those are important too. Stepmoms, y'all are important. So sorry, we just caught y'all at the tail
Yep.
end. Okay, hosh posh. But yeah, stepmothers are very important too. So if that was missed, I kind of lumped them in with godmoms, but I guess step is a different thing than a god. So, but yeah, you guys are important too. And if you know a mother, if you can't do anything, but just hey, send her a text message. Like we said on this podcast 1,000 times, it is a thankless motherfucking job. So a simple, hey, I see what you're doing. Good looking out. Happy Mother's Day. It's free to send a text. If you can send a card, take them out to eat. Just something kind of let's because it feels good to get those compliments because we are always questioning ourselves. Like, damn, they're not as fly as them people get. Like, am I really doing the damn thing? And then lo and behold, people think you are, but in
No,
true nature, hmm,
I said people think you are, but no one's telling you. So
in true nature, a lot of flowers are not given until someone cannot smell them anymore.
That's
So don't,
true.
don't just assume, oh, they're strong. They don't need me to tell them. No, sometimes you need to hear, baby, your kids was polite. I saw them in public. Your son wasn't cutting up. He was such a gentleman, girl. You're doing the damn thing. Happy Mother's Day. So I mean, those things really do make a difference. So you know. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and God bless and good night.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues. I'm the spark that makes your idea bright. The same spark that lights